Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Safe Space Podcast. If you're just listening for the first time, you're welcome. We love you. We like to have you keep staying with us and listening more. And if you're not, welcome back. Just joking. Okay, not joking. You're welcome to another part of the Preaching in the Bus series. I'm still your very simple, going, gentle, nice, talkative, gisting, yeah, Igbalade Temiloluwa Princess, and you're welcome to the Safe Space Podcast. Thank you so much for listening so far, for listening to another episode of this podcast. I'm glad that you've been blessed as much as I have by speaking in this podcast or listening to it as well. And it is not a cliche when I say that, this is where you learn, this is where you unlearn, this is where you grow. You're a Christian, you're a non-Christian, you're welcome. We speak faith and life on Spirit and Life. You're welcome. And this is the part 2 of the Preaching in the Bus series. I started a while ago and I've spoken about a lot of things. Last episode I mentioned some strategies that God had pressed on my heart, some ways I could go about preaching the gospel, some ways ways that I can just talk from basically. And I had to research. In fact, I had to go looking for messages about the gospel so I could be able to say it well in one way or the other. I was scared. It was not easy. Even when I started to preach to the next person in another bus, it was not easy. Oh my goodness, it was not easy. And it was just like that for a while until I said just get used to it. And the last time I mentioned how that there was a particular time when I didn't feel like it because I had not read my Bible at the beginning of that morning while I was before going to work, and I felt like I was not the right person to. And I hope that you learn a lot from that, and how that God still helped me to actually be able to talk with this person, and it was the best conversation I've had in a long time that time. So this particular week, it is still the same week, yeah, that same August 15th when I talked to when I spoke English. I actually spoke to Omolola. That was in a bus to Ogba. That was not my last destination. So from Ogba to my office, that was in a Jota area, I spoke to Donna, and so just for a very short time. And I wish I said earlier, you see, it is very tricky because you would think that I had a wonderful conversation with Omolola in the last bus, and then here I am in the next bus, and I was still quite I don't want to talk. By the time I start, she was about getting down very soon, so it was just for a very short time, let's say 5 minutes max, that I spoke to her. I wanted to encourage her, and I wasn't going to say any much more. I would have loved to actually had more time with her. I would love to have actually started speaking to her by the time the bus moved from the bus stop, but jitters, right? Being scared, right? So I just felt led to just tell her that God was with her, she shouldn't worry and all of those things, and that was just it. And she just said thank you. She was very sweet. I didn't even know why I didn't even start talking to her first. She was just very sweet. She was just smiling and all of those things. But the way she dressed, I'm like, big girl move kind of thing. I don't judge a book by its cover. It's very real. So the next day, hey God, remember I told you that there was a particular day that blew my mind. This is a particular day, August 16th. The next day, hey, this particular day, hey, it was another day where never ever be led by your feelings. God never uses our feelings to lead us. It is very fickle. Always be led by the Holy Spirit. And this particular day, when I was coming, I think I was rushing. I don't know why I did not say anything or preach to anyone in the bus while I was going to work. I didn't. And like I usually say, See, don't give any platform for the devil to trick you or rule your mind. Because me, if I don't do something, I will start to feel guilty about it, and throughout that day was just a mess. But going back, I just kept in my mind that I was going to preach to one person, even though it was just one person I was going to preach. So from Ogba back to Kiaro, yeah, and then I just felt like, let me say something, but I'm like, oh, I'm not saying anything. And then the Holy Spirit was like, remember what I told you. He was reminding me of something that would like me to say, and like something that he had taught me and would like me to actually preach and everything. So God was Jesus was reminding me that about something. I wish I can actually remember. He was reminding me about something that he wanted me to say, and then I was just like, I thought he was reminding me about something he wanted me to say, but he was telling me that he had spoken to me earlier that it would actually help me to talk and everything. He just wanted me to talk, and I just reached out. I was like, oh hi, and it was a man. I've been so used to just talking to someone that is a sissy or like young lady, young female, looking young but might be older than me kind of thing. But this one is older than me, far like married man. He's a man. Not even he's a man. And I'm like, okay, but he looks more like my uncle kind of man, not adult daddy kind of ish. Do you get? So let's just say youth, less than 40, definitely, probably mid-30s. And then I was just like, hello. He was like, oh hi. I think he was listening to something, or he was chatting on his phone. I can't remember, but like he stopped whatever I was doing to pay attention. I'm like, oh, are you a Christian? And I don't know why I started with that. And he was like, yes, it's a Christian. I was like, oh, okay, I'm a Christian too. Nice to meet you, fellow Christian. Like I said, awkward. And then he was like, yes. He just laughed with me, and I just went on to ask which church he attended. He said, oh, he attends Redeem. And then I'm like, oh, I attend Anglican. He asked me about mine. I'm like, oh, I'm an Anglican actually. He was like, what? I said yes. He was like, he was actually an Anglican. Like, he was born Anglican back at home, and it was just when he got to Lagos that he started attending Redeem. And it's like quite what's the word now, surprising to see an Anglican doing evangelism, because it's not so much emphasized, according to him. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh, it's not so much of a big deal. I mean, it's just the same word where there are so many stereotypes that Anglicans don't speak in tongues or something like that, or they pray quietly or something. So that was just how it was. That, wow, you're an Anglican, you're evangelizing. I'm like, yes. I was like, he's also an Anglican from birth, actually, like deep into Anglican. That it's just like a year or 2 or 3 years ago when he came to Lagos that he joined Redeem. I'm like, oh, really? Wow, nice to meet you and everything. I'm like, which Anglican church did you attend? Guys, I kid you not, that I don't want to go into the whole conversation, how the whole conversation went, because I cannot remember word for word, and I wished I actually recorded this episode immediately when I got home, because then you'd have actually heard my excitement. But I'm sure you can actually hear my excitement, because when I say it was mind-blowing, it was an encounter. So I figured at the end of the day, we came into the full realization at the end of the day that we're actually from the same family compound back in my state. Like, I mean my state, not where I live, where I was born. Not where I was born, where my state of origin, Osun State, where I am from, basically, like where my dad is from. And the church that he's saying that he attended was the church that my dad was born and brought up in. He says he's from Osun. I'm like, oh, where? Which from Osun? He's like, Oshogbo. I was like, are you serious? I'm from Oshogbo too. It was like, which local government or which compound? I'm like, Balogun Agore. It was like, yes, same compound, same state, from the same church my daddy attended and was brought up in. And it was just mind blowing. Like, what? and all of a sudden, it is definitely not coincidence, because I don't believe in coincidence. I only believe in faith and divine orchestration. Because what, seated together in a bus, a public transport, are you kidding right now? In the vastness of how big Lagos is, you are telling me that would actually meet? And then it's like it's from Lagos, and it's from Osun State, we are like family. And then it was mentioning, like, he now asked me that what's my family name. I said Igbinlade. It was like he knows the Igbilades now, that they're actually like, we're actually family friends, like back in our state we are family friends. And then he knows my uncle, like my cousin, my dad's junior brother's son. He knows my cousin, like they were friends growing up. Uncle Damola, he knows my cousin. He knows like a lot of my cousins. He knows them. He was like, he has not seen me. I was like, we don't really usually go home like that, And it's just during Christmas then that we used to go home. But now that my grandma, that's my dad's mom, is dead, so there's no reason to go home like that, except for my dad's older brother that is still there. And then he was just saying this, like he was mentioning so many people that he knows my dad's junior brother, and that's like he knows my dad too, but like he's not quite familiar with my dad. I'm like, oh, my dad moved from Oshogbo since like far back, but my dad's junior brother still goes, because he has a building there, he has a family there, he has a house there, so obviously he goes back once in a while, although he is permanently residing in Abuja, but he has his permanent residence with my cousins and everybody in Oshogbo. And he was just mentioning so many people that he knows, that I know, like for my family. He now told me his son name, that I should ask my cousin, that he knows my cousin very well. He told me his son name, that there was even a time that he's actually working in the same space that I am, which is media. And he was telling me that how that there was a magazine that he had to like publish for. He was a publisher, no, is it publisher or a writer or a reporter, I don't know. And he interviewed my cousin, who is a doctor, and he interviewed my cousin then and everything, that I should just talk to my cousin, that my cousin knows him and everything. He was just saying, I was just blown away, that are you serious right now? And apparently he's a pastor. So imagine me that I want to be evangelizing to a pastor. Are you kidding right now? And it was just a wonderful meeting. I was just so blessed and everything. And he still encouraged me to still talk. I'm like, hey, what do you want me to say? You're a pastor, are you kidding? He was like, yes now, but it doesn't matter and everything, that I should still talk. And I was like, okay, she encouraged me, like forced me basically that I still have to say something. I mean, I started the conversation for a reason, so I have to say what I feel like God has led me to say. So I spoke. I think I talked about how that there should not be any intermediary, how that we as Christians should witness unto others. I don't know why I went that route, but that's what I did. And he was just saying how that he was very much blessed. And I was very much blessed. I was glad that I listened, or glad that I spoke about this. He encouraged me. He prayed for me. Jesus, he prayed for me, encouraged me. He prayed for me from the bottom of his heart. He prayed that I should never lose heart. I should never, go out of this that I'm doing. He prayed for me, encouraged me. He gave me his contact, and it was just a very wonderful blessing. I was just so glad. It was in that excitement that when I was going home, I would normally board a bike, and obviously it's a bike, I would normally say nothing. But this particular day, because I was very much excited, I spoke to the bike man as well, and I found out that he himself is also a pastor and he was formerly Anglican as well. It was just a wonderful day, honestly. And he also, the bike man, is a pastor in a Redeemed Church. He was formerly an Anglican, and then he also just encouraged me and everything. In fact, he took me to my house, Gongon, not to drop me my bus stop. Took me to my house. We talked he went a little bit personal, though he spoke a lot about his audio with wife and females and everything. I was quite like, bro, why are we going this route? I'm always very skeptical about it, and I'm like, oh no, be say this man one, and it's quite like a daddy, not if it's soft, sir. But he didn't say anything close to that area. In fact, he just prayed for me, encouraged me, gave me like a word of knowledge or two, and just like, oh, he's going to come around, but he's a pastor. So I was like inviting him to my church, which my dad like is the priest in charge, that he could just come around. It's an Anglican church. If he ever misses Anglican service and everything, it was like, oh, if he's not, like, he's a pastor obviously, but if he's not in his parish, that he can just come around if he wants to. And I think he came, not on a Sunday, but he did come just one time with that. My mom was very skeptical. She was like, why is this man looking for you, or something like that? But I just took him to the church, showed him the church and everything. We just said aye, and then he left. And till now we didn't talk or get contact. Nothing happened again. I remember getting home and I was so excited. I told my dad and my mom about this person that I met that is from. And another mind-blowing thing is that when I gave my dad the contact of the person, that, oh, maybe he wants to speak to the person, like do like a catch-up family thingy, he actually realized that they are on the same family group chat, on the same compound group chat, and he called. I think maybe it was not with his phone, but they were not able to speak that day. He didn't pick. And that was the day I was exposed somehow, how that they were just skeptical, that how did I know this person, how did I find that? And I was like, no, we just spoke on the bus. Like, how did I bring up the conversation and everything? Last time I just said, okay, oh yeah, now you don't catch me. I wanted to preach the gospel to him. My daddy was just smiling, and my mom was just like, okay, oh kind of like SU-ish, yeah, just to share kind of thing. And then it was just a wonderful day. I was so excited. I felt like I had destroyed the devil, like push, back, giving the devil 1 or 2 blows kind of thing. Like, I felt so encouraged. I felt so confident. And I was just so happy that I didn't miss out on that encounter. And I just kept wondering that, which other encounters like this have I missed out on just because I was scared to speak to the person? And I was just so blessed that day. But guess what? You would think that after that day I would go on a spree and go on just evangelizing, just preaching, and just be like, give your life to Christ, and be so. No, it did not happen. A few moments later, a few days later. All right, so I'm just going to end it here. It's already getting too long, and I'm going to share with you in another part, in another episode, what happened after, how that God now said, you know what, you are going to actually talk out loud in the bus, not just preaching to one person or 2 person, not just talking to the person beside you. You are going to open your mouth like this and talk in the bus. I'll be like, Bros J, you hope say you don't bite more than you can chew. Nah, I didn't mean it. I didn't say that, but yeah, I was quite sad. But until next time, study and pray. Bye.